Yo, what it do? Welcome back to another episode of For the Love of the Game. I'm glad you're back. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody watching. If you new or returning, really don't make no difference. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I got some heat coming for y'all today, bro. So I made a playoff prediction video, you feel me? Something happened to the video. Moral is it did not save. So I am going to give you just a shortened version of the video I made about who I'm going to pick. All game ones have happened now. By the time you've seen this video, everybody has played one game, okay? So, nothing changed. Nothing changed in that. It's still the same thing. All my picks stayed the same. But I just want to let y'all know, I want to get my predictions because I kind of want to put them out there before it's too late. And then now predictions can be tamper with and all that because maybe the team I picked is down 0-2. Anything like that, we ain't having it. You feel me? Whatever. Number one, Utah versus Memphis. I got Utah 4-1. I just don't think Memphis is good enough. Like I said, the game one happened. Memphis did win by 3. No Donovan Mitchell, but they were to secure the first win. So Memphis is up in the series 1-0. But like I said, I like Utah 4-1. We go Clippers versus Mavericks. I got Clippers in 6 or 7. I don't want to do the or, so I'm going to go 6. Again, the Clippers lost game 1. Dallas had an amazing game. I'm just going to tell you who I have because I'm about to review these games as well. I'm going to review I'm going to review game 1 of each series. So I just want to tell you who I have overall. So I got Clippers in 6. Denver versus Portland, I got Portland in 6. The Jamal Murray injury kind of took Portland back a little bit. Now, Michael Porter Jr., Austin Rivers, Aaron Gordon, Monte Morris. They got guys who can step up in that role. Question is, can they contain or stop Dame and CJ enough with those guys? I'm going to vote no. You feel me? We hop down to the 2 versus 7, Suns versus Lakers. I got Lakers in 6. LA, they not your average 7 seed. The Suns are a good team. They are a gritty team. And Chris Paul has the resume of elevating teams wherever he go. So I don't want to call them dead. You know what I'm saying? It's not no chance that they'll win it, but I'm picking LA in 6. That's it for the Western Conference. We go to the Eastern Conference. We got 1 versus 8. We got Philly versus Washington. I got Philly in 4. Washington, feel good story. They did good to get to the playoffs, getting into the play-in, being like 15 games under 500 like 3 weeks ago. I understand all of that, but I got Philly in 4 as a sweep. I don't think they have enough. We head to the 4-5 in the East, Knicks versus Atlanta. I got Atlanta in 7. I think it's the third most interesting first round matchup. And I got Atlanta in 7. And that's off personal preference. I like Trae Young. You know what I'm saying? I like Trae Young over Luka Doncic. We can argue about that later. That don't matter. I'll make a video about it. But give me Trae Young. Ice traded gang on me. 3 versus 6, man. We got Milwaukee versus Miami. I got Miami in 6. Same thing as last year. I like the attitude. I like the wall that they can build around Giannis. I like the multiple defenders they have. Jimmy Butler as a player, as a leader, can lead them in that mentality. Bam can come into himself. And they got shooters. Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, Gordon Dragic. You know what I mean? Valuable people. Valuable people on that side. So I like Miami in 6. And then we go Brooklyn versus Boston. Got Brooklyn in 4. The injury to Jaylen Brown, the late injury in the year, the wrist that's going to have him out the rest of the season kind of messed it up. A healthy series, I could see this go 6 max. 5, that's one game, but I could see it go 6 for sure. With Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Tatum, they're able to, guard Brooklyn's best 3 players as well, and that's not even, but it's almost as close as you're gonna get. Boom, playoff predictions. You feel me? In a nutshell. Just to let y'all know who I got, who I'm rolling with, and why. Now, we gonna transfer over to the first game of every series. All right. Round 1 has been amazing so far. Am I exaggerating because there's only been 8 games, yes, but still, round 1 has been everything we've asked for. We've got a buzzer beater, we've got an upset, we've got high energy playoff basketball. We have fans back in the arena. Madison Square Garden was crazy. We'll get there. But that's what we're going to do. All game ones. We're going to recap the game ones. Okay, let's start. Miami and Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Butler had 17, 10, and 8. But I think he was like 9 for 22. He didn't shoot well. Giannis also had 26 and 18. But Giannis also did not shoot well. I'm pretty sure Giannis was like... hold on, let me get you the exact ones. Giannis was 10 for 27. You know, so he didn't play well either. And that's what I was going to say. On the stats, it looks amazing. You look and you say 26 and 18, that's amazing. You look at the shooting, he's 10 for 27. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was 4 for 22. One of those being the go-ahead bucket, you know, to send the game into overtime. But 4 for 22 and 10 for 27 for both of the star players in that game. Shout out Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton was able to knock down a game winner. Because, I mean, Giannis late in the game, they were able to do what you can do in the playoffs, which is clog the paint, which is play real defense and make it tough on your opponent. Chris Middleton, he was 10 for 22, and he had 27. He had 27, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Great game. He hit a game winner to elevate them 1 up in the series. They're up 1-0. This is the thing. Miami shot like 43s, I want to say. And in a game like that where you shoot that many, you win in the free throw battle, you should not lose that game. You know, they let Milwaukee creep around. They let Giannis get enough second chance points. And they didn't close the game when they had a chance. This game really went back and forth. Tons and tons and tons. It went to overtime. So it took them to go to overtime. There was a not game winning, but a game tying bucket to end the quarter. Then Chris Middleton answers with a game winner to end it. Milwaukee wins 107-109. They go up 1 in the series. So there's that. Like I said, though, I like Miami. I like Miami to bounce back. As bad as they played, Jimmy Butler shot 4 for 22. You lose by 2. You know, because it's fairly easy to contain their best player, which is Giannis. So now, here we go. We'll move to the 5 and the 4. We got the Clippers versus Mavericks. Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? Not much to say, bro. His first playoff game of the year, he come out with a 30-point trip dub. My man had 21 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, and a win. Tim Hardaway also had a good game, his backcourt mate. Let me get numbers for you. Tim Hardaway had 21. Porzingis had 14. Dorian Finney-Smith had 18. You got 15 from Jalen Brunson, who is a very solid backup point guard who can come in and control a game for you. The thing is with that, though, is if you can get a better, more consistent Porzingis as far as shooting. Porzingis was 4 for 13 on the night. Not good. He did have a dunk at the end of the game that pretty much sealed it with good ball movement. And that's because Luka requires so much attention. Luka is going to require a double, which I don't like in the NBA. Why is everyone doubling? This is the NBA. Like, you don't have anybody on that roster who can play. I know you can't stop any of the top tier guys, but anybody who can play good enough defense, give them just enough trouble. The doubles, you can't double in the NBA anyway because everyone's too good. We're seeing the double not work because these guys can make shots. The double works if there's really a large gap between their number 1 and their number 2. If there's a large gap in between those, you can double. So like I said, the Mavericks pulled that out. Now we go to the Clippers, man. It's too early. It's too early to go where everybody's about to go back to last year. Go back to Pandemic P. Go back to Kawhi. COVID Kawhi. It's too early to go back to that series where they blew that lead. They're down 1-0. They could have played a lot better. In the last 2 minutes, it was terrible. The last 2 minutes, they were cold. Let me give you something else. Kawhi Leonard's plus minus was negative 15. Marcus Morris's plus minus was negative 23. Zubac's plus minus was negative 13. Paul George's plus minus was negative 6. And Patrick Beverley's plus minus was negative 13. Rajon Rondo's plus minus was negative 8. Everyone I just said all also played. Let me look at Rondo. All played 20 minutes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that all played 20 minutes. Well, Patrick Beverley was about 18, but around 6 players who played roughly around 20 minutes, all have a negative plus minus. For people who don't know, the plus minus is how the game is being played when you're on the floor. You never want to have a negative in front of anything. So the more you go negative is the worse that the team is playing with you on the floor. Right? You look at somebody like Nicholas Batum, his plus minus was 6. Okay? And 6 is just good. That means they weren't worse with you on the floor. That's all you want. You just want to be good. All 6 players that the Clippers have that play significant minutes, who you're going to rely on to win a series, had negatives in their plus minus. When that happens, and then you run into Luka, who wakes up with straight kill on his mind and give you a triple-double, you're going to lose. They need to bounce back for game 2. Like I said, I got Clippers to win that series. We go Brooklyn, Boston. Not too much to say here. It wasn't that bad of a game, bro. Boston brought it into a tie game within the fourth quarter. They brought it into a tie game early fourth quarter, and then for 4 minutes after that, Kyrie made some big time buckets. KD got a steal, and after that, the game spiraled just a little bit. It went downhill. It became, how can you stop Brooklyn's big three? I think that's the question. We come and we look at KD. He had 32 and 12. You look at Joe Harris, he had 10. You look at Kyrie, he had 29. You look at James Harden, he had 21, 8, and 9. From Kevin Durant, 32, to Kyrie's 29, to James Harden's 21. All fairly efficient. KD shot 40 from the field. Kyrie shot 55. James Harden shot 39. And that's the thing with Brooklyn. I don't want to go too hard on Boston. They're hurt. Weird year even before Jaylen Brown got hurt. They weren't playing their best ball. But the thing is, and why it's gonna be so hard to beat Brooklyn, is because on what day do you have 3 guys who are gonna stop those 3 guys? That's just one day. On another day, when is there a day where all 3 of them are off? On a different day, when is there a day that 2 of them are off? There's a problem. And if they're all off, Joe Harris won't be. And if they're all off, you got blessed, So they got too much firepower. They was able to pick up that win 104-93. I got the Nets winning that series. Really, really not too much to say. So then we got Portland versus Denver. We got the number 6 Portland versus the number 3 Denver. Damian Lillard had 34 and 13, but he also battled with Jokic, who had 34 and 16. The score was 123-109. How do we want to go with this? Because we can't do too much, man. Melo come out, he get booed. Melo, 50%, he was 6 for 12, able to have 18 points. That's a very solid outing. Damian Lillard with 34. CJ McCollum with 21. Nurkic with 16 and 12. And you got 10 from Norman Powell and 8 from Covington and 14 from Anthony Simmons. A well-rounded game from Portland. And then, like I said, Dame lead the charge with 34 and 13 to kick the playoffs off for his team. But a part of me why I can't do that, man, is because this team is missing a big piece. They're missing a big piece. And you sit here and we look at Jokic, who was 14 for 27. He had 34 and 16. Michael Porter Jr. has been waiting on this role, has been waiting on a new role to be able to step up and show teams what he's capable of doing. He had 25 points and 9 rebounds. It's not bad. It's not bad. You got an additional 16 from Aaron Gordon. You got 10 from Monte Morris. As I touched on earlier when I did my predictions, the question is those numbers from the supporting cast that you have, because you don't really have a 1-2 punch anymore. You have somebody filling in for your second half of the 1-2 punch. You don't have that. So can those guys give you enough spark and do enough and make enough and get enough stops to beat Dame and CJ, to stop them, to slow them down in their firepower, and Melo and Nurkic? I don't think so. And that's the same thing I said about the Mavericks with the Clippers. I don't think the Mavericks have enough to slow down the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. We on to the East, man. So we flip to the East, and we got Washington versus Philly. So Philly take first game. It was 118 to 125. Bradley Beal had 33, 10, and 6. He don't get enough credit for the stuff that he does. He's still got a nagging hamstring. Tobias Harris had 37 and 6. He also had 24 in the first half. We go down Russ. Russ has 16 and 14, right? Which is nice, but he had a -9+ rating. He was 7 for 17. And I'm not one of these dudes who look solely at the numbers. But if I'm giving you a recap, it was a 7-point game. You see that your main leading scorer is Bradley Beal. Your next guy was Russell Westbrook with 16. Then you had 12, 12, 14, and 12. You had it scattered around. But again, when you're not the better team, stars have to be stars. When you're not the better team, you don't have time for your star to play like a role player. In a sense, that's kind of what happened with Russell Westbrook that game. Then you look at Joel Embiid. He had 30 and 6, 30.6 rebounds. Ben Simmons had 6 points, man, 15 assists and 15 rebounds with an 18+ rating. When I watched the game the other day, I seen the lineup Philly had. They had Joel, Ben, Tobias Harris, Danny Green, and Seth Curry all on the floor. That is amazing. Stop letting Ben Simmons, who can't shoot, who is no threat from half court to the free throw line. Okay, he's only a threat from the free throw line and under. Stop letting him be the main ball handler. Let him get a feel for it. Let him get the ball, but you need to spread it around. And then you look, and like I said, Tobias gives you 37. So between Tobias is 37, Joel's 30, and Ben's 6, 15, and 15. If it's not for Bradley Beal's 33, 6, and 10, they're blown out the water. I still got them getting swept though. You know, they're gonna compete. It's gonna be close, but I got them getting swept. We move on to LA versus Phoenix, man. It's so close for me to which one I want to say had the most electric playoff feel when we talk Phoenix and LA or New York and Atlanta. Game 1, atmosphere. I don't know. I'm going to give the edge to New York. Of course, Madison Square Garden, they was ready to have people in there. We're going to touch on them next. So let me calm down. Let me stay put. So we go LA, man. Bron had 18, 10, and 7. Anthony Davis had 13, 7. 13 and 7. LeBron was 6 for 13. AD was 5 for 16. I don't know about y'all, but when your backs are against the wall, when you've been hurt, when you had to play in the play-in tournament, you don't have much room to spare. When you're playing against a team who's the second seed, and not many cases like this are considered the underdog, who probably have a massive chip on their shoulder, who feel slightly disrespected by the world that they're the underdog and they're the second seed. Flirting with 18 points and 13 points from your two superstars are not the way you want to go. That's not the way you want to kick it off. They got to get one. This next game is going to be so crucial for them because if you go down 2-0, that pressure becomes a lot more on your shoulders. Now you got to win 2 straight. It's one game. I don't want to overanalyze. I have watched basketball enough to see that LeBron James loses games and he understands that they're like another game. Game 1 for LeBron James is a fill-out process. I'm not saying he's not trying to win, but it's more of a fill-out process. Let's see what they're going to do. Let's see how we come out. Because, you got to lose 4 times to be done. So the 1 is not too bad. The problem is if they're not able to steal one at Phoenix, right, and be able to take away their home court advantage. If Phoenix gets 2-0, the pressure automatically flips to LA to win 2 at Staples. You got to win 2 at Staples because if not, they have 3 wins already. On the Phoenix side, Chris Paul hurt his shoulder. He was not the same when he came back in after injuring his shoulder. And I think when we all seen Chris Paul go down, we was all like, oh man, not again. I instantly had Houston Rocket flashbacks or when he got hurt versus Golden State in the conference semifinals. Just because he made it all the way there. One of his best chances of making it to the finals was squashed by injury. So when he goes down now, it's like, oh, they're the 2nd seed. They have a good team. What do? You know what you do? You trust in Chris Paul prodigy by the name of Devin Booker. The man had 34, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. Devin Booker in his playoff debut had 34 and 8 assists, and he shot 50% from the field against the defending champs with Chris Paul being out or a non-factor for about the whole second half. Shout out DeAndre Ayton. He had 21 and 16. He completely dominated Anthony Davis. I didn't even know Anthony Davis played. I didn't even know Anthony Davis won the championship last year if we're going off this game. Again, it's one game, y'all. Don't take me too serious. Don't take me too serious up here. Able to get 10 from Mikal Bridges. Able to get 8 from Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder is always a great piece on every team he goes to. Every single piece. He's always a great 3-and-D guy. Chris Paul, let me read you these numbers, and it just spells struggle. You look at these numbers, you see the minutes he played, and you understand something was up. Chris Paul has 7 points, 8 assists. He took 8 shots, and he played 36 minutes. The whole second half, he was losing the ball. I just don't think he could get a feel for it. I don't think he'd get a feel for it. I think he was hurting more than he would admit. But I think it'll be fine by game 2. Probably just a little stinger. You just don't expect to have that. All right, bro. So now we got probably, the game of the day? No lie. Probably the game of the day, man. We got New York versus Atlanta. I got Atlanta in 7. I have LA in 6. I didn't say that. I got the Lakers in 6. I got Atlanta in 7, man. Mainly because personal preference. Trae Young. My man came out in his playoff debut. We talking about D-Book? Let's talk about Trae Young. He had 32 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. A guy that small playing in his first playoff game at that atmosphere in the mecca of basketball with a real playoff vibe and grabbing 7 rebounds, we don't see that often. We got 18 and 4 from Bogdan, 12 from John Collins, 13 from Lou Will. Lou Will came off the bench and provided them a spark that they needed while Trae Young was sitting on the bench in that third quarter, was able to come in, and he rallied like 8 straight. So out of his 13, 8 of them came, within the matter of like 3 possessions. But you really look here, man, Bogdan, I didn't watch a lot of Hawks. So when I watched that game today, hit a big-time 3. He was 7 for 15. So him and Trae Young going to share a big bulk of the shots. Trae Young took 23 shots. He took 15. That's a 1-2 punch if you ask me. But Trae Young on that last play of the game, man, to wave off the pick and roll, okay? And then to wave off the pick and roll, beat the double before it came, because Taj was coming, I believe, on the left side. So he just went to the right. So beat the double, get in the lane, and hit the floater. Again, I didn't watch the Hawks play a lot, but what I heard Reggie Miller Or it might not be Reggie Miller. What I heard Mike kept saying, though, was about his floater and how he gets in the paint so well and uses his floater. Him and John Morant use the floater extremely well. Trae Young, he had 32? 16, literally probably half of them, I would say, were floaters. Just getting to a spot and able to do that. The Knicks, on the other hand, bro, heartbreaking loss, honestly, bro. The Madison Square Garden was rocking. Emmanuel quickly played good. They got good minutes from Drew. Oh, they did not get good minutes from Julius Randle. They got good minutes from Alec Burks, of course. Emmanuel quickly had 10. Alec Burks had 27 on 9 for 13, shooting 70% from the field in one of his first meaningful playoff games. The announcer said that Alec Burks has been in the league for 10 years, got bounced around. This is some of the best basketball he's playing. So to come out and have 27, which he even probably passed up a couple he could have took late in the game. You get 17 from D-Rose. We love to see that. D-Rose doing that on 50%. And you get 14 from R.J. Barrett. What it is your star player, the guy you build around, the guy who took most of your shots, and also the guy who had a negative plus-minus. Julius Randle with a -5, but he had 15 points, 12 rebounds, but he was 6 for 23. He couldn't get anything going today. I don't know if we want to credit the Hawks defense or just a bad day at the office. But I got Atlanta at 7 on that. Shout out Ice Trae for sealing the game with the signature floater. And I would just say about that series and about Trae Young, I would say, hold on. Y'all hear that? It's quiet as beep. What is that? It's real quiet in here. I ain't hear nothing. It's real quiet. Talk that talk, Ice Trae. On me. All right, man. And then to cap it off, man, we got the number 1 Utah Jazz versus the number 8 Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis, like I touched on earlier, was able to steal one. Shout out Dylan Brooks, shooting 50 from the field. He had 31 and 7. Already touched on what I think he did to Steph Curry on the defensive end. But then we bring in a game like this and where he was really able to have, like, he had 31. 31 is not easy. That's not light work. 31 is efficient scoring, especially on 50% shooting. He had an amazing third quarter where he was really able to carry the load while Ja was sitting, or Ja came in late third quarter. Then Ja come in, took over the fourth quarter. Ja had 26. He was 11 for 21. You got 14 from Kyle Anderson. You got 15 and 12 from Valanciunas. So from Valanciunas, Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, John Morant, Grayson Allen came in off the bench, gave him a spark. But from your main guys, you got a great game. Utah, nothing to put their heads down. You're missing your guy. You're missing Donovan Mitchell. So not only are you missing Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert gets fouled out with about 4 to 5 minutes left to go in the game. At one point, still with 4 to 5 minutes left in the game, the lead was stretched to 8. They were able to climb all the way back. Bojan, I'm tell you what, man, 44 on Utah Jazz is cold. He shot 50% as well. He had 29. One of their only bright spots. You was able to get 22 from Mike Conley, although he missed some key threes at the end that you would love to have back. You were able to get 14 out of Jordan Clarkson, but he was also 5 for 16. So the question is that bad? Or do the bulk of the shots need to come from somewhere else since Donovan Mitchell is missing? There are 3 guys on this team, Bojan, Mike Conley, and Jordan Clarkson, who all put up over 15 shot attempts. That's 45 just between them. Joe Ingles had 8 shot attempts. He had 11 points. The question is, and it's kind of the same for the Clippers, and it is the same for Washington. Until Donovan Mitchell comes back, because we don't know when that is. That this game that he missed today, first game of the playoffs, was his 16th consecutive missed game. So it's not like he's been out just for a little bit with a little minor injury. It's something there. So until he comes back, the question has to be, where does Utah get their extra scoring from outside of Mike Conley. Like I said, Mike Conley had 22, 6, and 11. Outside of Mike Conley and Bojan, where do you get your additional scoring from that's going to be able to leave y'all in this series? Because again, you don't want to flirt with losing to Memphis again and you're down 2-0. And then Donovan Mitchell has to come back in game 3. He can't relax. He has to come in and assert himself and be aggressive right off the bat because y'all can't lose again. Nonetheless, man, a very interesting day one. A very interesting game one, of the NBA playoffs. These playoffs got a funny feel to them, man. And I just can't wait to keep going, bro. So if y'all can, watch my last video right here. Subscribe to the channel right here. And I'm going to see y'all next week. We out.